Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate your time. Welcome to another live trading session for Future 45 Trade Signals. You can visit our website down here at the bottom at f45trading.com, and you can sign up for free to our website and get all of our trade signals for a limited time and a discount rate. We actually just increased the rates here just the other day because we had a big milestone, and we have had to increase them a little bit, but it's now $75 a month to sit down and go through the markets with us and get our trade signals, and you can access that free for 14 days, 2 weeks before any charges hit your credit card. So you can come try us out, stretch your legs a little bit with us, and see if you like our style of trading. So just a little bit of stuff to get going. I finally finished the commodity, my commodity picks from January to March, and I'm going to be doing a video on them. I just actually have to add one more. I've got all the grains. I've got wheat, corn, soybeans, some canola. I've got all the major energies, commodity futures, crude and natural gas, and then I've got meats, which is live cattle, feeder cattle, lean hogs, and then a bunch of softs, which is cotton, orange juice, coffee, sugar, cocoa. I'm just going to add in there copper, and I'm probably going to do a small one on gold and silver. I'm not going to touch on it too much because we do actively trade gold and silver on a regular basis, and the point of the video is actually more so to look for some swing trades and some long position trades for the next upcoming months, because you can get some great movement on some of these markets, and we want to be capitalizing on that. So you pretty much want to let January settle down in terms of trading, and then the beginning of February start to look for the trades and the setups and all the confirmations. And so I'll be going and doing a video and just talking about the relative strengths between all of the different pairs that are out there, commodity baskets that are out there, and just identifying the leaders of them. And so in terms of the grains and the the meats, etc., etc., we don't go out and just blanket buy all of them. You got to pick the leaders in them in the market, and so I'll be identifying the leaders of those, and then looking at a couple of trades potentially taking going forward. So anyway, with that being said, let's get into the markets. So we had another update on, this whole week has been a nice push higher. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's trading, and then today we've got this nice big or small potentially bull candle here right now. Now, what I'm thinking we may see on this before it goes higher, and this is just a could, we could see price come up just a little. Let me just get a line here, line of measurement before I think we're going to see price push up a little bit higher, maybe to this 90.30 level. And then we may come down a little bit and tag off of this this purple line here at 89.93. So not too much. I mean, this is a possibility. I don't necessarily know if it's going to come up and then go down. It could go down right now and then start to rally. But I believe, like I was saying to you, for the past 2 weeks or so, we have hit that quarterly shift, and I think we're going to get a nice rebound in the dollar index, and I think we're going to see some higher prices. So again, as I mentioned before, price tends to trade from consolidation to consolidation. So we have 3 nice consolidation areas right here, a reversal, and now we're going to be trading up. So what we could actually be doing in this area here is we could put in another small consolidation range in here. I'm still expecting price to go higher today for Thursday's trading, but then I would expect Friday typically to come off a little bit. And let's just look at the weekly. So you can see the weekly candle here. It's a nice big bull green candle. Typically what happens is you don't have a finish. It doesn't close. Let me just get rid of this so you can see it a little bit better. Typically it'll leave a little bit of a wick on the top of it, so it'll go up, it'll hit its high on Thursday, maybe even into Friday, depending on if there's some news, and then you'll start to see a little bit of a retracement for all the traders closing their positions and selling them off for the weekend. So it'll leave a little bit of a wick. So I think that we could be trading Again, a little consolidation. You don't see it here on the weekly, but you can see the boxes that I've got. These are consolidation ranges, and I wouldn't be surprised if we had price push up sort of into this area here. I get a straight line if I can. Come on, you. Basically, the open of that candle there is kind of what I'd be projecting if I can ever get a straight trend line. Man, let's do this. The open, or I'm sorry, the close of this candle comes in at 90.44. So let's just make my life easier. Come on. Now I got another trend line in there. Where'd that come from? Okay. Sorry guys, technical difficulties again. Bloody trend lines. Sometimes I swear. It's not like I'm working on a 1 minute chart here either. Close enough. So anyway, I'm kind of looking for price to kind of tag into this and hit it nice and convincingly. It might go through it as well too, but I think for Friday's trading again, it'll probably look something like this, where we got a bit of a wick here. So I think that's probably what we'll end up seeing. And again, not necessarily that high or anything like that, but I think the price will come up and then close back down, and then we'll have a nice up closed bull candle, of course. But again, a lot of traders, they sell off their positions going into the weekend. They don't hold through the weekend, and so you'll see a little bit of a retracement happening. So kind of like what you see here. You see how price is going up, 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 up. They finish off. These are weekly candles, so you finish off the week here, and then they push price all the way up on Thursday or Friday of that particular week. And then they sold off their positions going into the weekend, and you can see it leaves a nice little tail right here. So that's what I'm expecting for this week as well too. Again, nice big bull breakout candle, and we've just about, and I want to see if we've taken out the high of this candle here. I guess the open would be 90.22.5, and we haven't, well, I think we did wick into it actually, because the high was 90.25. So it took the high of the body out by about a pip. And now it's come back down a little bit, but again, I'm still expecting higher prices coming through. So here's that red line that I was trying so desperately to get straight. Finally got it in there. I think we'll see price push up, kind of do one like this here, and it might even clear this. It depends on how strong of a day we get today trading, but I would be expecting price to come up, and then it's just a kind of you know, sort of meander in this area here. I'm sort of expecting one of these to occur. Now it could be up here, you know, consolidation up in there or whatever, but typically price likes to, like I say, trade from consolidation to consolidation, and it also likes to do a couple of, you know, dips in price, and really likes to work these ranges again. So what I would be expecting something similar, maybe not as long. I mean, this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, on the 7th day of trading, it finally broke through that consolidation. You know, it might only be 1, 2, 3 days in here. So what we could see is price goes up in today, puts out a nice big bold candle, and then starts to trade off Friday. And we have Friday's trading, Monday's trading, and then Tuesday's trading coming back down. So, you know, 1, 2, 3 days, and then price, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, pushing up into the next consolidation here. So that's sort of what I'm looking for going forward. But we are going to be short-term bullish on the dollar index from my standpoint. And because this convincingly broke through here, and we're now trading into this area here. So I'm expecting similar price action going higher. Now, if price wants to come in and break, you know, this guy here, and let me just zoom out a little bit. If price starts breaking this price level here and we don't see any reaction, and it wants to keep going through, or we get a pullback within and starts to bounce here, I'm expecting price to come up into these areas up in here, and we could be switching our trading style to suit the US dollar as a bull market, and who knows how high it could go from there. I mean, it's been a very nice long trend, downtrend on this market here, so I think we could see lots of action happening. So with the US dollar looking to want to go up into Thursday, we're going to be looking for the opposing trade in the Euro USD and the pound dollar. I'm not going to go through the US CAD too much, but you can see here the US CAD, we're going to be sending out some signals on this. We'd be good to be getting along here pretty soon, I believe, depending on what price does here today. it could just kind of come back down, hit the top of this candle body here, and then start to expand up. And then we get back into this trading range here. And this was a big trading range here, so I would expect it might take price a little bit to get through it, but we're very, very close. We've almost surpassed this. Let me just bring this down here. We've almost surpassed the high of this consolidation range here, and then we'll be into the lows of here pretty soon. I would imagine that'll probably happen today. So there's a number of trades we could be looking at, and I'm just kind of spitballing here today. I'm not going to make this a very long session. I'm actually quite tired today, and so I'm going to, we'll look at this. I could see if price wanted to come down. I'm not really too happy with this type of trading. This is a 15-minute chart. Let me go up to an hour. You can see what price was doing on the CAD here. Just kind of chop, 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 chop all the way up, and then it finally broke out, and now it's starting to trade softer again. You know, I would look for reversals probably somewhere in this neighborhood here. You know, around abouts. I would say that would probably be a nice area for reversal, and then that could come and coincide with, again, the US dollar dropping down a little bit to this maybe purple line here and then running higher. But we'll see what happens there. I just want to, before I get too ahead of myself here, let's just have a little peek at the news. We are Thursday, so I'm just going to do a refresh here. And Thursday brings us, we've got some Euro news coming out here shortly. Well, that's some pretty early Aussie news. So you typically don't get it that early in the morning. They usually reserve that for later on in the evening, you know, around 8:30 p.m. You see there's a bunch of Aussie news down here. So we could see the Aussie moving quite a bit here today. We'll have a quick peek at that pair. The Euro again, and then we have a lot of pound news here. The Bank of England inflation report, MPC official bank rates, monetary policy. So we could see a lot of activity happening in the pound, and I'll go through that here in a minute. But there's some stuff on the Euro, some medium impact news and some light impact news on the Euro. It's going to be happening here starting in about an hour and a half. And then I think that's pretty much about it. There's some stuff on the CAD here. Nothing too serious. Governor Council member Wilkins speech. Don't know who that guy is. Doesn't sound very important though. So, but you never know. They could use any excuse to get a rise out of the market. So we will keep that in mind. And anyway, on to the Euro USD. So I was outlining this here today. I was looking, and I don't know necessarily if we're going to get a deep retracement or not. So you see here, I'm kind of looking for price to run higher up into the bottom of this this area where it had really worked price in the blue shaded area here. I think we could get a run back up, and then I'm looking long term. My target's going to be the top of this consolidation area. So we're kind of in this guy right here. So it's sort of setting up the same thing, pretty much the same thing that I was talking about with the US dollar index. So I'll just grab a couple of rectangles here and say, see, so trades from consolidation to consolidation. So on the way down, excluding this stuff up here because that was where the reversal took place. And I'll just kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. So this was the overall, my price came up, ran back down, rallied back, failure swing, and then now we're trading much softer below the market. We're back into this consolidating area right here, and then there's a few more along down the way here that I've outlined where I think price could get to depending on how deep or how bullish the US dollar index is going to become. If the US dollar index keeps running up, it's going to drag the euro down with it. So we're now starting to trade back into this consolidation range in here, and we're getting a small one here. My target is, and again, depending on, I don't know if it wants to get this wild price swings in here, and this took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days to get through this before it finally punched higher. I don't necessarily think we're going to need that much for price to get down below this consolidating area in here and into the next one, but that's what I'm looking at. So basically, I'm looking at price coming down and hitting the next consolidation level somewhere in here. Now, it doesn't have to be right below that blue level. It could be, it could be here or something like that. But this is going to be my target for the remainder of the week. This blue line at 120.80, you can call it 121 big figure, I guess, for argument's sakes, and I'll refine that here a little bit, but this is what I'm looking at for the next little while. So we'll see this happen. We'll see some consolidation. Price will drop down. We'll clear out this guy here. We'll be trading into the next consolidation, and again, I don't know if it's going to happen directly parallel to this guy here. It could happen here. It could happen up here, but it'll be somewhere in this neighborhood, and then we'll see price shoot through that. It'll be taking out these lows here. And then we'll be looking to see what price wants to do once it gets down into this area in here. It's a big area. There's lows in here. I would love to see this thing come down, consolidate, come down again, and then take out these lows here, trade off of the high in here. So pretty much right in about, I'd say, this area in here matches up to a few levels along the way. And then we see potentially maybe a reversal and then a trade back up. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But I'm just going to shoot out on the daily. Let's just look at this for a second. Like, you look at price here. I mean, this was a massive price swing. You look at this. I'm just going to take a quick fib. So price ran up, retraced back down, ran up again, retraced down, and then it exploded. And I'm just going to take a quick fib. Oops. Grab the wrong end of that. Come on, you. So that's the start of that. So it came down, rallied, came down again, and then rallied. And this was kind of the major bull rally here. If price were to come down, and this being 100% of that swing, price came down on the first swing here and dropped down to about 61% retracement level. So I mean, it came down about 30, almost 40% to hit this, and then rebounded up again. And I would be expecting something similar on this next price swing if we see continued bullish action. Again. So we have a swing high, and now price is starting to retrace, a swing low. And I mean, that would be pretty deep to come back into these levels in here. But again, I'm calling right now our first level right here, this blue line right here, top of this old consolidation area, and we'll wait to see what price gives us from there. But I wouldn't be surprised if it wanted to trade down just a little bit deeper and come down into these ranges here, and then potentially see a move up if we're going to see continued bullishness on this. Because I think I had identified, if you guys remember, this blue line here at the top, that's the high of this in here. I know it's a little bit of shrapnel in there, but hard to see. But there's some big levels up in here that I think price needs to get to in order to satisfy all the price action in this area here. So I think ultimately that's where we're going to be headed. Long term, who knows? Could be a year to get up there. Could be 2 years. I don't know. I don't think it'll be that long. But you look how long price took just to get up to where we are here, right? That was a year to get there. And if we extend this out, and we use, I'll just use this guy again here, but if we just kind of take an approximation and we use that, and let's say our next swing range brings us, so let me try to clarify this here. So we got a swing high here, and then price retraced down, and then we had another swing high, okay? So let's assume that we'll get something maybe similar to this here, or a variation thereof. If price, let's say, wants to come back down to this consolidation area in here, and I'll just use this line here, some of these areas in here, and then go higher, well, that takes us right into this top of this trading range in here, right back up into the next area consolidation right here. And so that would be a pretty good, pretty accurate measurement of potentially where things could be going in the next little while. And then if price wants to get, and then from there, then again we could see a retracement, and then another push higher and then eventually get to above here. But I think that's where they eventually want to go. I don't necessarily think that this. This move up here in the dollar is going to be sustained. I don't know if they're going to want to get all the way back up here. If they do, that's fine. We can trade it. It's not a big deal. But I think we could potentially see lower prices in the U.S. dollar index because they ran it up here and then it was just an exhaustion swing, and then now they're back down below this consolidation area here. And I think they may just be wanting to come up, maybe even to this 90, 97, 91, 45, I don't know, somewhere in there. They may not get above here, I don't know. And then trade softer, and then we could be coming down and scooping some stuff in here, right? And the exact inverse would be happening on the euro, right? So that's kind of what we're looking at here on the euro. But anyway, that's long term. That's a long ways out. We're talking short term. We're talking today, sorry, for the market to trade in today. Now, what I want to see is price bang up here to the. We may not, and just keep in mind, we may not get this much movement in the euro. Where do we got here? That's kind of a nice level. I like the 20 levels. Just because they're just kind of a nice level to work off of that price seems to gravitate towards. Oh, Jesus, I can't believe that thing just did that. I love it when it does that. MT4, killing me here. Okay. And if we got that swing here and then a subsequent drop, and it did actually get down to this level here, as you can see here, that's a 200 pip range. Typically the euro doesn't, the ATR on daily price action in the euro doesn't give you 200 pip range. On huge days where you get FOMC news or something like that, like here, this was a big day. It wasn't FOMC, but like that's 150, 160 pips that day. So a trade into that magnitude would run you somewhere down in and around here, and then they might just drop it down a little bit on Friday, the last 50, 60, 70 pips, take that out and then rebound up and consolidate like we were talking about earlier. But I'm definitely calling a short on the Euro USD for Thursday's trading. If price goes higher than this level in here, I would highly recommend you just waiting on the sidelines. So you don't necessarily need to, as soon as price gets into 23.20 there, you don't necessarily need to rip a short on immediately. Just watch what price is doing. If it's stabbing up and then starting to fall away and stabbing up and falling away, that could be a good indication that it's looking for a reversal. Let's get rid of this, easier to see. But that's what I'd be looking at there, and I can refine this a little bit, I think. But I would suggest I don't want to get in a situation where we had on, I think it was on Monday, where I put a trade out and we missed the trade by like a pip, which drove me crazy, and then it ran like 120 pips to our target. There's nothing that makes me matter more than that. So just keep an eye on this here. I'm hoping that's kind of the levels I'm looking at to get in for a short. I'll just throw this up here, and we'll watch price here for the next half an hour or so while I'm here, but I'm not going to be on for too much longer than that. I just want to kind of get through a couple of pairs, and then I'm going to call it a night here, and I'm going to set some limit orders on, and then we'll pick it up again for the New York session. What am I writing here? Short. Don't want that big. Okay, and then again, the stop on this, really, it shouldn't be going higher than this area in here. So you see this tiny little consolidation area right here. If price wants to go through here, then the trade is going to be suspect. Okay. So, but I don't want to put the stop right there, obviously, just because that's going to be too tight. You do have to let price, give price a little room to maneuver. So, it's a fairly balanced price range in here. They really work this area. So price, and by what I mean by that is, you can see here, they shouldn't need to go back up in here again. They've ran, and I'm talking this area right here, basically, right where that consolidation is. See these two lows in here, price consolidated here, two lows, price came traded through, back up, traded in, consolidated. I think we're through that area now. I don't think price needs to get back up in there again. If it does, hopefully we'll just see maybe a wick and then a drop, but that's why I'm suggesting an entry, a stop maybe a little bit higher than normal. We're not talking 100 pips or anything like that. We're talking about 40 pip stop. So reduce your trade, obviously. You got to do proper risk management on your trades. So whatever the perceived target is versus how much you like to trade with, you just scale it back a little bit to allow for a little bit of room to maneuver if this goes against you a little bit. But I definitely don't think we're gonna go higher and then just start coming back up into here. I think we're gonna see lower prices going forward, and that's my reasons why on it. So let's look at that. Yeah, we'll say, and what is this level in there? So that level is 123.45. Yeah, to be honest with you, like if you see price wanting to come up to the 123.50, just watch it. It shouldn't want to do that. It shouldn't need to do that. Like I say, I'm kind of hoping maybe we just get something like this where price just wicks and then runs away. So hopefully wick and then drop back down, if it even gets up there. See, again, we've got that, I think it was medium impact news that comes out here in a couple of hours. I don't necessarily know if that's going to be enough. Let's just see here. It is the German Bubba Present Weidmann speaks. Buba. B-U-B-A. Oh, yeah, Buba? I have no idea. Some crazy name. Anyway, 3:45 a.m. New York time, so we're a little ways away from that, and then we got some German trade balances. I don't necessarily know that that's going to start sloshing the markets around like crazy, so you kind of got to be nimble on this. Prices set a nice little range in here. Just watch what it does. Like I say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a limit order in at 123.20 for a sell, and then my target will be down into this range here, and I'm going to hold this probably into Friday, just because I want to give it some time to work and actually move. And we'll manage it, obviously. At plus 30 pips in profit, you obviously know what to do. I've been saying it like a broken record here. You take some partial profits off, and then you move your stop to break even, or move your stop up. Whatever you want to do. I'll let you decide that. But the limit order is going to go in here. We're gonna do a target down in here. So I kind of like this view better here. So let me just grab this, move these guys over. You can see a little bit better. Oh, this is, I'm not sure what entry that's stop. Okay, and then I'll just grab this guy, borrow him, and like I say again, so it's 20.88. At the blue line, so I would suggest doing like 21 even would be a pretty good target for price to come down to. So we'll put that on here. So that's going to be our target. So we'll look at that. Okay, so that's the euro. I'm not going to discuss too much about that. I'm going to watch that pan out, and we'll go back to that one. The pound dollar, so I want to talk about this one real briefly. I had some analysis. I don't remember if you guys recall back from Tuesday's live trading session that I had done, stating, so we are, this is Thursday's, this was Wednesday's trading, this was Tuesday's trading, and then, I'm sorry, I think it was Monday. No, I'm just second guessing myself. Hang on. Yeah, Monday's trading. So I'd called the level up in here, and price, that this is what it was right here. It was price just missed our entry by like a pip, and then we saw the subsequent run. And again, I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday now. You know what? It was Tuesday, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to remember. There's a lot of charts that I look at and a lot of signals that I put out. It was this one here, 139.99. I put a signal out to go short at 140, 1.4 thousand, basically big figure. Price missed my entry by like a pip. So I don't know. Hopefully some of you got in. If you guys were watching, hopefully some of you guys got in on that trade. I'm not too sure if you did or not. I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't take my entry, so I can't call it as a successful trade. But you can see the subsequent drop. I mean, it was 162. Conservatively, it was 140 pips. Just a great trade. And I had identified that after this trading day here, and I said, yeah, they came down, they took it, and then they dropped it down one more time. This, to me, doesn't look like a reversal. When they reverse, it typically looks something like that. So I was predicting continuation to the downside, and then I was looking for, similar to the Euro USD, again, price trading from consolidation to consolidation, and then coming down. I'm kind of looking at here as the next target. So I was looking at this and I was saying to myself, well, yeah, we're going to see the price came down, broke through here, didn't reject and go higher like this did in here. So now I'm kind of thinking, okay, we're going to drop down, and this was the signal for Tuesday that I went through on the live trade session, panned out, came to fruition, just missed my entry. Hopefully some of you guys got it, and then came back up and then retested this area one more time and then dropped off. Now Wednesday, for whatever reason, and I'm kind of kicking myself, I was I switched my bias on this to go higher. And it was kind of something that the U.S. dollar was doing on Monday, and let's see if I can find it here. Thursday, Wednesday, yeah, it was this wick right here. So price had stabbed up, and I was saying in my analysis that if it rejects here and goes lower and closes down, then we're going to see price fall off. And it kind of threw me for a bit of a loop, because that was Tuesday's trading that did that, and I wasn't expecting this big bull candle on Wednesday. So I should have stuck to my original analysis on the pound dollar and predicted lower prices for yesterday, because I threw a trade out and it didn't, it ran into profit. So let me just try to find this trade here. So I was calling price to come down and to key off of this level in here, and then to run higher and to start and to come back out and take out these highs up here. And I didn't anticipate this happening. However, if I would have stuck to my original analysis, what I would have been looking for was this right here, this rise in the market. I would have said to get short right above the market, right above here, to get short and then to hold short and then watch price go down. So I ended up, and I actually broke a trading rule, I'll admit it, chasing price. And this is why you don't chase price. Let this, if you know, try to learn by my example if you can. I know a lot of people, you only learn by your own example, by making a mistake yourself. I've made this mistake before in the past by chasing price. And so what I did, price was in here, it was trading, I saw this, and it was a news driver that had me kind of tripped up. And again, I was thinking higher prices, but I knew price was going to come down. Okay, so it was trading in here, and I knew 100% they were going to drive the price down under the market to grab the liquidity from all the guys who were thinking that this thing's going to go right, and they had their stops under here, jammed the liquidity down, and I thought it was going to come into here. It did, ultimately, and I was right on that, and I put a signal out to go long here, which was correct. My target was up here at this red line here, though. And again, what they were doing here was just driving everybody out of the market here who were short, who had jammed their stops up in here, and then subsequently ripped it. Now, my biggest mistake was right in here, where price had come down right here and it was sitting here, and then it started 1, 2, 3 candle drive higher, and I was thinking, oh damn, we missed it. It's not going to come that deep, because my targets, my signal to get long was down here, I believe, at 138.90, I believe it was. Where is it? 138.90. Yeah, right in here. Right in here was my signal to get long. It came down here on that news driver and then started running up hard. And I was thinking, okay, they're getting everybody out of the market on both sides, and then they're going to drive it higher. And I didn't want to miss this move like I missed the move on Monday. And so they ended up taking it up to here, and I said, okay, I'm going to take a long right in here. and then it fell out. I put my stop in tight, so it wasn't like it was a catastrophic loss or anything like that. Because if the price wants to go back down below this low here, then you know the trade's no good. So I put my stop in tight, but it did. Yeah, it ended up stopping me out, and it came down and hit my original target, ran back up, and this is why, again, this is why you take partial profits at all times, is because the trade came down, it executed at 90, it ran up about 50 pips, just shy of 50 pips, took profits in here at 30 pips, the market pushed higher another 20, and I moved my stop loss to break even. Okay, so we didn't lose anything on this trade, we took partial profits, and then it came down and stopped me out. So that's why you want to take partial profits. And again, if you guys are following this trade, I apologize. Typically my first intuition on the market is the correct one, and I was right on analyzing this thing on Tuesday morning's trading day at London Open. I called the subsequent drop on Tuesday, and then this drop in here on Tuesday, and I should have stuck with my gut, because I'm thinking, right, I'm thinking down here, similar to the euro, same sort of thing, and they actually may even come in and take some lows. Let me just see here. Let's say they run price down, and we'll call it 20 pips, let's say, ish. That would line up nicely, actually, right onto that candle there. So that's about 20 pips below the low there, where they typically sweep the stops. And we are now about 170 pips away from that. So again, that could be all of today's trading. You know, maybe we average 120 pips or whatever, and then partial Fridays, and then I think what they're going to do. So I think what they're going to do on this is, I think they're going to come down. I'll analyze where the entry is on this here in a second, but I think what they're going to do is come down here onto Friday, you know, whenever into Friday, like this, and then they'll finish off the week probably somewhere up in this neck of the woods, and then they'll just bounce it around here for Monday, Tuesday's trading, which will make a high off of this level here. And I'm kind of getting ahead of myself calling this out, but I think this is what we're going to see. And then they'll, Monday or Tuesday's trading of next week, they'll make a high up into here, or maybe not even that high. Maybe it'll come in down into these lows down in, grab this bloody trend line. This is going to be my biggest pet peeve with this NP4 platform. There's some platforms out there that are so much easier to work with in terms of grabbing these trend lines, but you gotta make do with what you got. So, you know, they could come up to here, they could come up to this area, somewhere right here. This probably would make a little bit more sense, honestly. Come on, give me that. Just because the body of the candles stop there, and then the low of the wicks kind of go into there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come in Monday, Tuesday, it sets the high, and they roll it over for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, and then we get into these lows down in here and then back to this consolidating range in there. So we'll see. You know, again, I talked about a big drop in the euro. We could have something equally as big in the pound dollar, and they're doing a pretty good job of getting down there. So you know, and it may not pan out in that fashion. Obviously, we gotta trade with what they give you each day going forward. But that's just kind of to give you a general idea. So I'm going to let me put it this way: I'm short-term bearish on this on pound dollar, same as the euro, same as the U.S. dollar index, where I'm bullish. So that's where I think price is going to head, and I think this target rate in here. See how I have these X's under here? I did this again on Tuesday morning session because I think that's where they're going to go. Personally, I don't necessarily think, if it wants to reverse, the time to do it, to go higher, would be in this, to see these between these two lines right here at 136.55 and 136.20. If they're going to reverse this and then go higher from here, this would probably be the area to start thinking about doing that in. They take them a lot to get down through these areas here, and a lot of trading to do that. And obviously, if they're going to do that, then I would imagine they're probably going to come down to here, and then they'll go higher if that's what they're going to do. But the same thing, right, as the euro, right? Pre-Brexit highs up here. I think this is where they ultimately want to go. This has been a nice bull run. I don't know why they would stop it here, but it's due for a retracement. Okay, like there's been it's just been running up, and then now we finally traced. Kind of like the S&P, right? I mean, eventually you got to start taking some profits somewhere. So That's what we're looking at on the pound dollar. In terms of a trade, you can see we got a nice big bull candle happening right now. Let's have a look at this here. Where would an entry be? Let me go out a little bit. You know, and you got to watch as well too, because sometimes they'll let, between the euro and the pound dollar, they'll let one or the other run. And I'll be honest with you, actually. So this was Wednesday's trading here on the euro, which gave us a nice range. They may, and this could be a big maybe, but they may have let the euro run and drop down nicely here, and they may even consolidate euro going into tomorrow. So they could just kind of let it sort of meander sideways for a couple of days and then drop it, or for a couple of hours. You know, typically maybe the London session, New York session, and then they open it up because via news driver or whatever it is. And then they would let the euro, or sorry, the pound dollar stretch its legs and then to get down there again. So that could be what we're seeing here as well too. You know, with that in mind, and there again, news coming up for the pound sterling at 7 a.m. A lot of it too. So this is where you kind of got to be careful. There's a lot. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 high impact news drivers, 2 medium news drivers, and 1 low impact news driver, all at 7 a.m. New York time on the pound dollar. So this is where you kind of got to sit down and say, how much volatility are they going to inject? Because what my eye immediately goes to is, I'll just get this guy out of the way for a quick second. My eye immediately goes to right here, where they posted in these equal highs right here. So it wouldn't surprise me. And again, right, look at this area, okay? I'm a big believer in areas of confluence. And what I see in this area here is they have worked this area. Okay, I'm trying to, I've got so much crap on this chart sometimes it's hard to, okay, so right into here, I believe is where it was. Yeah, 139, so 1.4 basically, big figure, okay? So what I'm driving at here is they have worked that level. This black line right here, okay? Just keep that in mind, that black level right there. They have come down and they've worked it. They punched into it here once, drove through it there once, came back up, came back down, drove through it, punched up, traded higher, came back down, punched through it, ran off of it, and then slammed it down. And now we're back into that again, where we traded into again that 1.4 and now its prices in there again. And just you can see in the past, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 trading days. So the past 2 weeks, they've been in that range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Okay, so it kind of tells me and kind of leads me to believe that's sort of an area where you get a lot of for whatever reason, prices attracting that. The algos have an affinity for that number. They like to work that number. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these news drivers come up and grab these 2 equal highs here, grab the liquidity, and then they drop it and drop the floor out of it, and price trades back down into here. So the problem with that is that's quite a ways away, and I can't guarantee that we're going to get an entry on it. So let me just look at the levels here. So currently we're trading at 139.05 on this feed. See, it's 100 pips up there. And again, price doesn't have to get up there. Price could kind of come into right where it's at right now, and then they use the news drivers to smash this thing lower. That's the other possibility. But you see there's a nice consolidation area right in here, and price failed to get up to that consolidation on this run, you know, I'm kind of thinking either 139.50 to get in short. Watch price, obviously. You know, 139.50. See what it wants to do. If it wants to keep screaming higher, wait. And I would suggest even taking a short in at 1.4 thousand again, and then letting price run. And the target, the first target on tomorrow would obviously be these lows down here, if they want to do that. But we'll watch and see what price wants to do. I'm not going to throw out a pending trade on this one yet, because I think I want to see what those news events do. And then after the news events, so basically if those news events come in at 5 a.m. and this thing keeps trading up higher, then I'll be a little bit more inclined to think, okay, yeah, they're going to just jam it up and then run it down. But if they keep chopping it around in here, then I might start to think, well, they may not get up there, and they might just do a real quick shot higher up to the 139.50 area and then sink it, and then we could look at getting short in there. But again, you know, we had some good trading, some good movement there on Monday's trading, and then Tuesday's trading, Wednesday's trading, Tuesday creating the low. They still haven't broke that low. I'm not going to put a trade out on the pound dollar until I see what happens a little bit more. I've just got, and I know, like I was saying, okay, I'm trusting my initial instinct that they're going to drop price in here, but I think for whatever reason, this area right up in here is just kind of got a big bullseye on it. I'm kind of actually going to include this area in here too. Somewhere in there, I think, is they're going to bring price, and just the movement, this big bull candle that's coming off of there right now in this hourly, kind of leads me to believe that as well too. Unless they stop it right here, like if it doesn't go any higher than there and it starts to get softer, then we could just start trading lower from there. But I'm going to wait on this one, and we'll revisit that one. For all the members on here, just keep an eye on Telegram, where we put out all our trade signals to the F45 broadcast channel. And if I see something that I like on the pound, then that starts to align after the news. I don't want to put anything out before that news, those news events. I'll just watch the channel. If I see something that I like, we'll take it, and you can jump in on it then. There'll be lots of time. It's not like it's going to react instantly and just start falling off, but we'll come back to that one. US yen, there was a, and I just have to double check. Was it the yen? Or we had a trade signal that went out. Oh, I'm sorry, it was gold. We had a trade signal on gold that just went out a few hours ago. So let's just have a little quick peek at that before I go to the US yen. And this is going to fall in line, obviously, again with the US dollar index, but you've got some lows in here that I think prices are going to be reaching for. So it's a short. I'm not going to tell you exactly what the levels were. If you're a member of F45 Trading, you can go on, just go onto the website under Thursday's Trading. You can find this gold signal that's there. And you can get all the details on it, but let's just, you know, for all the non-members, just let you know we are looking at short positions on this, and you know, that might encourage you to maybe you know, sign up and check us out so you can get all the information that we're giving to all of our members, because it's a pretty good signal on this one here. So we're expecting some continuation to the downside, but it would probably be a good idea if you knew exactly where price was going to rebound to, and then drop in. So anyway, that's what we're looking at on gold. So I just want to double check the status of that. It's looking good. Looking like we're coming into some pretty good levels here now, which, yeah, it's had a nice drop on this, real nice drop. And look at that, the price just came in, wicked above those old highs over here from what is that, September 8th. and fallen away. We got a big area in here, and this is actually going to be a nice trade, I think. So anyway, I'm not going to ruin this one for the members. Members, if you haven't seen that signal yet, jump on the Telegram channel on the broadcast. At 45 Trade Signals broadcast channel, check that out, or just jump on the website quickly and have a look at Thursday's trading. You'll see that signal there. So I'm not going to talk about that one anymore. UJ, just wanted to briefly chat about this. Oh, sorry guys, my monitors are flickering here. Sorry about that, guys. Just give me a yes if you can still hear me. I had for some reason the current monitor setup I have, the power seems to cycle on my monitors just completely randomly, and so I just want to make sure you guys can still hear me. So just give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me. I'll just do a quick check on my other end here, make sure that we're good to go, and then I'll just start running through this last pair here. Yeah, I think we're okay. All right, anyway, UJ. So we had price come in here, and I've been talking about this pair for a while. You can see what it's been doing, trading in a consolidation. Again, if the US dollar index goes up, UJ should be going up. If it goes down, UJ should be going down. It trades in tandem because the US dollar is the front pair of this currency basket. And US dollar, what did I say it was doing? I think we're going higher. What's UJ doing right now? Here's another confirmation, going higher. You can also see too, it was a failure swing here. So it was a bit of SMT divergence. You look on the weekly, smashed out this low here, took out these lows, whereas the yen, US yen, it didn't take out this low. So, and prices started trading higher off of it. But now you can see here, it's really trading in a nasty little consolidation. I do not like trading these types of patterns here because it's just so, it's almost like they're searching for your stop and they're taking you out in these types of real tight consolidation patterns right here. You know, kind of like something like this. But again, just kind of going back to that theme of what I was discussing, this has been trading in a consolidation range since for about the past year now, and at the extreme ranges, you don't, and again, you don't need an RSI indicator to tell you what this thing is doing. You can see it here, that prices, every time it reaches the outermost areas of these two red lines, and maybe I'll just switch this so you can see it a little bit better. And this guy right here, you can see that they snapped the price back, so price starts trading down, trades off that line, snaps it back up, trades up here, snaps it down, and so on and so on and so on. So as I was saying, I started doing some analysis on this back into here, and somebody was asking me about taking some trades off of it, and I said I'm not interested in trading off of this until price comes down to this area here. It's done that. The US dollar has come in alignment with the overall big picture of turning bullish, and I think it's come down at the exact same time as it has here, and I think we're going to see price go all the way back up to here, and this is about a 600 pip range from here to there, 500, 600 pips. So I think we're going to start to see that come to fruition here now, but trading in here is a little bit ugly right now, so you don't have to rush on this. I mean, this takes a very long time to get back up to these levels in here. So I just got rid of all my lines, so that's awesome. Yeah, live trading. So yeah, you don't have to rush in and get a long or anything like that. We'll put out signals as this goes forward, but what you can probably expect is, again, similar price action on the way up. So you got a small consolidation area here, you got another one here, and then we've had one down here. What I believe we are going to see is something similar to this up here, and then ultimately we'll have the final apex of the move up into here, and then we should see price trail off again, or not. Maybe it'll go higher, maybe it'll finally break through this consolidation, I don't know. We won't know that until it gets up there, but I think it's fairly convincingly it's traded off of this low down in here. I'm not worried about price going down and taking out this old low back in here. I think we are fairly safe to say it's time to get long on UJ. And if you're a swing trader out there, you can easily take this for a 2 to 3 week trading range and to wait to get price till it gets back up in there. So we'll just look at this real quickly here. And I'll just get rid of that guy right there. So down on an hourly level, you can see price is actually keying off of these lower areas quite nicely. We had a big dip in here on Monday, Tuesday. That was on Monday. Tuesday coming in at the low, creates the low, wicked down once, and then it's traded off of it nicely since then. And it's sort of been chopping. Yesterday, Wednesday was kind of a sideways day, inside day. And then we're now into Monday here. So what I wouldn't actually mind seeing, I'm sorry, into Monday, we're into Thursday here. What I actually wouldn't mind seeing is this. If price were to start trading off of this level down here convincingly, that would be cause for a nice long, actually. And then you could look at these highs in here as a potential target for Thursday. And then ultimately there eventually. That would be a nice range. Let's see. That's 80 pip range, 100 pip range, and you can easily get that on UJ. So that's kind of what I actually like. And I don't think, let me just, you always got to confirm by checking the news. So I don't think I saw any. There was some yen news, low impacts about an hour ago. Don't see anything there. Yen, where are we? And then not until Thursday late evening do we see another low impact news event. So no, there's no real news to speak of. So we could just see this thing just trending nicely, just sort of slow and steady, running higher. Now what are these levels here? Let's just zoom in here and check this out a little bit. And give me a thumbs up or something, guys, if you guys trade the yen and you like the yen. I mean, I don't have to sit here and go through these pairs. If you guys don't like the trades that I'm looking at here, or the pairs that I'm looking at, give me some feedback. I mean, I'm trading the most popular ones, the major indexes. You know, as long as it's not like, you know, we're talking like Litecoin or Ethereum or, you know, some ridiculous ICO or something like that, or some, you know, renminbi cross with, you know, African dollar or something like that. I mean, I'm not trading that exotic crap, but if it's a major, you know, the US dollar, Euro GBP, Euro USD, pound dollar, yen, CAD, you know, Aussie, Kiwi, you know, things of that nature. I mean, let me know if you guys want to see something in here. I can certainly throw it into my repertoire. But I would kind of like this trade here, actually. This seems like a nice little area of confluence that could come to fruition. And then there'd be a couple of areas up in here. Whoops. This 50 area actually here is kind of a nice one that I don't mind. And then the next one being right here. I would just conservatively say this guy here, 10.25. Just the high on this guy, so you could even say 10.30. They may just take it up and just run it. No, you know what? I like 10.25 actually. 110.25. We'll call it that. Right about there. So that could be some targets, and then your stop would have to be really, I mean, if they come down here, I don't want to see them. If they start taking out this low here, then they may want to come back down into here. I don't think they need to do that. They've really worked this area quite a bit. I think if they wanted to come down, this was sort of the last drive to get down, and then ever since they've been making a higher low. So you can see here, right, they put in a low here, and then, you know, they put in a higher low, and then they put in a higher low here. So I'm kind of expecting the next higher low to come up, right about our entry, right about in there. It might dip down just a little bit, it might wick down a little bit, so you'd have to give yourself a little bit of room on the stop, but I would say 109.10 conservatively as a stop. Oops. Somewhere in and around there. That would be a fairly conservative trade, I believe. And you just look what they're doing here. Like, I just actually saw this. Like, where is all the liquidity? Right there. Look, they came down. They came all the way down from this consolidation in here, dropped it down to the next consolidation area. Everyone was building their stops up in here, thinking, oh, maybe this thing will go long. They jammed it down, took everybody's stop out there, and then they've just been working the hell out of this area in here. I mean, they've been coming down, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times just in this past 2-week period, just right in on this, you know, 109 level. So they really like this. So I think they're building up longs in this area, and they came down, you know, everyone who was long in here, they came down, jammed them out of the market one more time right here, failure swing, and now I think we're going to start seeing some higher prices. And so that's why I say, again, I don't think they have any real reason to come down here one more time, as they've already done it. Unless they just want to get in and punish these guys who have gone long and who are right on this area here, and maybe they want to get them out one more time and come down. I don't know that that's very likely, but you can see here what they've been doing. They've been building in a resistance level. This is an artificial resistance level, and they're keying it off of this old level up in here. But resistance, resistance, resistance. Eventually what's going to happen, they're going to come down, and the next time is going to be a big one, and it's going to run, it's going to all the way up. Pop, 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 pop. So that's what I'm looking on the UJ. So we'll take a screenshot of that, and we might put that out as a trade. But again, I'm going to be calling this trade session a day here very, very quickly. I just want to go over 1 or 2 more options, and then we're going to call it a day. So see how this one's doing out here. This one hasn't moving at all. Not yet. And this one, no, this popped up again. Yeah, the pound dollar, I'm not sure. I think they want to take it up here for some reason. But anyway, CAD we discussed. Crude oil, I'm looking for continued downside in crude oil. Again, you can see here, so consolidation to consolidation. There's a mini consolidation area that they're putting in right here. So price is going to trade. I'm actually looking for a price to do this. I've actually got a signal out for price to do something like that. So we'll see how that pans out. Price, it might just fall right out of bed right from its at, but this would be the first target, second target right in here. So I think we're going to see lower prices on crude oil for the short term. Bitcoin, we had a little rally off of this drop down in here, just to kind of, this is a bit of an area of, how do I say this, gap, you know, some gaps in this area, thinly traded areas is what I'm trying to basically get at. So you can see here how it's just wick. There's no bodies in that area. It's just thinly traded, and they came up and traded it one more time. So price has been offered on the sell side in every single time going through there. They were selling it here and then selling it here, and then and in and around here, and just this area right in here. So I think they wanted to come up, grab that, and Bitcoin's going down. Let me try to summarize this for you here. This is what Bitcoin's going to do. I don't know how deep it's going to go. Okay, so never mind this guy here. You don't have to worry about that guy, but this is where it's going to go. And I think we're going to go lower than here. So we're definitely going to take out this low here. and I think this next low is going to be suspect, and that'll take us into the low 5,000s, high 4,000 range, and then I think we could be going lower. So if you got somebody that you know, or if you're holding Bitcoin yourself and you're long up in this area, up in here, or even in here, it might be time to sell it, because they're going to put more. They're going to put the screws to you again. They're going to do another round of selling, and what it may do, and I should clarify this, it may not happen tomorrow or today, right? I mean, it could happen a week from now. You know, you look what they did here. They jammed it down, gave everyone false hope that it was going to start coming back up, and then they chopped it sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18th day they dropped it. Right, and then people are thinking, oh, it's going to reverse now, and they stabbed it down one more time, and everyone's thinking, oh, it's going to reverse, and then all they did was chop it sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days, and then they smashed it again. And it was a consecutive 1, 2, 3 down days, 4 down days here, and then they finished on an up note. But what they could do is, again, they could just chop it, you know, sideways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days, jam it down one more time. And then we would, and that would pretty much knock everybody out of this Bitcoin market. And who knows? I mean, who knows what? I'm. Don't get me wrong. I like Bitcoin. I'm a Bitcoin enthusiast. I believe that this form of currency is much more stable than, you know, the paper fiat money that's sitting in your wallet right now. And the one big thing is, you know, it's paper. They can just keep printing more of it. You know, it's ones and zeros in a computer, and every time they want more ones, they just type it in on their keyboard. So, you know, with fractional reserve banking policies in all the major countries and everything else, I mean, there's just no limit to the amount of debt and you know, paper fiat money out there. And so I believe those are very highly manipulated markets. And now I believe Bitcoin is one of those markets as well, too. But going forward in the future, I believe this is a much more secure option. And I don't have to tell you that. If you're a cryptocurrency trader, you already know all this. I'm not telling you anything new that you don't already know. But I just think that now you can see that this is a market that is now manipulated. You know, prior to this run up here, you know, you had, and I'm sure there was a lot, you know, the major banking institutions, I'm sure, were getting involved into it at certain levels. You know, this one right here would be a kind of a major level where they would get into. But you can just see how price is just really working nicely. Whoops. Right? Comes up, creates a high, retraces a little bit, runs back up, creates another high, comes back down to the top of the old area back in here, runs off again, comes back, retests these levels again. Like, if retail traders are out there just buying up Bitcoin, like, why the hell would you see these retracements like this? You know, why would you see the price come back down? You know, maybe a little bit, for sure. You know, people look and, you know, it comes up and then they say, oh, I made some money, I'm going to start cashing out, and then they start selling their positions to all the people, willing buyers down here. You know, 100%. You know, supply and demand. But I don't know. It looks very artificial to me. Whereas pre this, you know, if you go back, my chart only goes back to 2017. Pre-2017, you just kind of saw just some nice runs up, and you didn't see the specific price action. But now that I'm seeing this, I'm thinking that the major banking institutions are engineering this. And this especially, this was the tip-off. This right here, all of this crap you see here, this is the tip-off that they are engineering this. And this is not artificial. Like, there's still so much hype to Bitcoin. And let me put it this way. Yeah, you get guys up here, they're like, okay, I got in at $1,000. I'm selling all my Bitcoin. Boom, 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 they sell it. And all the other guys, let's just say, for instance, all the guys who had a ton of holdings with Bitcoin got in a conference room and they said, let's sell Bitcoin and let's cash out, because we're paper millionaires and enough's enough. Let's see if we can't get this back down again. And they start selling it off. I mean, you would have to literally get people selling a ton of Bitcoin, like, I mean, an astronomical amount of their holdings to get price to do this. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the only people who have that amount of money, of holdings in Bitcoin, are major banking institutions. Like, private individuals don't hold billions of dollars of Bitcoin unless you're the founder of it. You know, I just, right? So this is engineered to me. This is not something that regular buying and selling in the public is going to do. The banks have their hands on this, and it's very, very evident. And I think they're going to drop it lower. So if you're holding Bitcoin and you're hoping it's going to go back higher, you could be in for a bit of a shock here, because I think they're going to drive it down one more time. And I just want to look at something here now that I've kind of, so they drove it down here. And let's just say the retracement, they drove it down here. And that comes into an area of confluence, right? I mean, under these lows for sure, right? And who knows, maybe they just might want to take it down here for good measure, but and all I'm doing is just taking the high to the old low here, and then, right, and then coming back down, and then the old high, retracement, sorry, and then the old high to the low here, new low. You can do this with a fib too as well. It's just not magic what I'm doing there, but yeah, I think Bitcoin is heading south. So that's what we'll be looking for. And give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to take a sip of water here because my mouth is dry. Okay, so any questions? I don't see you guys doing a whole lot of typing in the chat box, so I'm assuming that you're understanding all of this, so I'm going to move on. We discussed the US dollar, the Euro USD, the pound dollar, US CAD. I kind of like US CAD as well too as a trade, but I'll come back to that. The Aussie dollar I wanted to talk about because there was some big news coming up in the Aussie dollar, and that is coming up at 7:30 p.m. Thursday evening. So, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Aussie has some 4 a.m. news. RBA Governor Lowe speaks. So this one, let me just zoom in here a little bit. I wouldn't mind seeing this. Bring it up to about there. And then a nice retracement down. Again, we're keeping on par with the same thing that the US dollar index is doing. US dollar index goes up. It's the end currency in this currency basket. The Aussie dollar goes down. Okay, so whatever the US dollar does, this does the opposite. US dollar is going up, and this is going down. And that would be a nice area right back in here. You can see here again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but all right, consolidation to consolidation. So we had consolidation there, had another nice one there, another nice one there. Price reversed up here. We saw another consolidation here, another one here, ish, and then now we're into this one here, and right, which lines up into there. And then I think we're going to see, you know, we could see one down here and then down into here. And actually, I'd love it if they came in and cleaned up these guys right in here and just kind of took this thing right down to this level down in here. That would be great. And I don't know what's going to get down close enough though. That would be sort of a nice little trade that I'd be looking at on the Aussie. And if you guys are a swing trader, that's about 270 pips. So that's a nice little range for Aussie anyway. And then we'll see what price wants to do from there. But you can see prices. This is a nice bull market, right? Just depending on how short. So it could even go even lower, right? Like I say, like look where this line. If any of you are trend line traders, I don't know. I'm not, but you can see this another range of confluence. You can see this trend line. Prices bounced off of it, bounced off again, came up, took out these highs here, and price has fallen off. You can see price just wicked above it right there. Wick. I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see a bit better. Price just wicked above this high up here, like just barely. So it got it there, and boom, 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 boom. This could be a real nice area of confluence in here, and see where this my line that I felt that I think where price is going to come back down to, be drawn back down to. That could be a nice reversal point for this as well too, for price to go and continue higher. Again, this is all assuming that the US dollar is just doing a short-term retracement and it's going to fall over again. But that's what I'd be looking at, and we could be seeing prices come in, bang off down there, and I mean, who knows? There's some nice areas up in here. This is a nice area if it ever got up to there. All right, somewhere up in there. So that's what we're looking at for the Aussie, and if we're looking for a trade today, I would suggest probably right about in here, and then a short. And again, there's some pretty major news coming, so I'm not necessarily recommending this. You know, you trade according to what you feel you need to do, and none of my assessment on here is ever to be constituted as trade advice. I'm not ever showing any examples on a live account. This is all demo, and I'm not assuming that you guys are placing any live trades with what I'm doing either. So just so you know, I don't want to go any more than that. About a 930 pip stop. That brings us up into, yeah, I don't want to go any higher than that. If price wants to go higher than that, it's going to be looking to take out this high here, but that could be what the news driver is going to do. Going to send us up and then roll us over. Just be mindful too, it may only want to send us up into here. So you see the low that is formed right in here. Let me just look at another, zoom in here. Price came down, failed, came down, ran up. There's a nice area sort of right in here that I'm looking at. That might be an area that it might look at reversing. And that was on the hourly. Yeah, it may not even get up to 78.60. It may only want to get up to this blue line here, 78.50. So I'm going to put both levels on there. You leave it up to your own discretion, but I'd be looking at taking a short somewhere in this area here for Aussie dollar, and then again I'm targeting 77.28. Let's just refine that a little bit. This is traded too nicely there. I don't necessarily think it's going to stretch to get there, but I would say it's a safe trade. 77.35. You know, that's quite a ways away. The Aussie typically doesn't trade that much. So what I would do is I would be taking some profits right here, depending on how long you want to swing this for. I'd be taking some profits at 78 big figure right here, as price just. I don't know if I can get it in there or not, but I'll just do this. 78. So if price does want to do this, come up and then drop down, I'd be taking profits here for sure on the day, and then I'd be moving to the sidelines, and then I'd want to wait and see what price does from there. So that's about a 60 pip range on the Aussie dollar, if it's going to get that. So anyway, that's that. That's pretty much what all I wanted to discuss. Okay, John, you got a question? Oh yeah, I see what you're saying, John. Yeah, I don't sit there and go. My chat is just literally right in, just beside my screen there. I've got it minimized, and then it's just kind of sitting right there. So, yeah, if you ever get that refined, by all means. The other thing you can do as well too, John, is just shoot me a note on Telegram as well too, and. Just give me 1 second here, John. Yeah, just jump onto the Telegram chat and just shoot me the note there if you have any questions or anything that you need to know, and I'd be more than happy to help you out on there too. And I mean, hey, look, if depending on how much you trade and how much you look are in front of the charts, I'm always in front of the charts. So even if you want to set up a little session there, a little one-on-one session there, we can help you set up with whatever you need. just reach out, let me know. I'm always available, and if you got some questions, hopefully I can answer them for you. But yeah, if it's too much of a pain in the ass typing it out on this YouTube stream, then by all means just hit me up on the group chat room there, and I'd be more than happy to help you with whatever you need, bud. So anyway, that's pretty much I think what I'm going to talk about tonight. We just to recap real quick, went through the US dollar, the euro. I'm looking, look how price is wicking in here, wick. We may not even see it come up to this, I don't know. Price may just start dropping in from where it's at. I'm going to be watching this very, very closely. I'm going to put a limit order in myself on a demo, and I'm going to put it in right about here, and with the expectation that price is going to fall off and come down into here. And I'm going to leave this for a few days, I believe, because it's going to take a little while. It's a 200 pip range, obviously, so this may not come to fruition until next week. Maybe on Friday. I hope it would hit Friday, but we'll see what happens there. I like the euro, though. The pound dollar, again, there's some major news coming up for the pound, so I'm going to wait till after 5 to review that. So if you're part of F45 Trade Signals, watch the Signal channel on there. If I see anything come out, I think they want to come up right here. I don't know why. Sometimes you get those feelings when you look at a chart and you sit down in front of it, and you're just kind of like, yeah, man, I got this feeling that I just think they're just going to hit price in here some way, somehow, at some point in time. I feel like this is just too much of an obvious area for them just to leave like that. I think they're going to come back up for it. And then look at they're doing the same thing down below the market here. So anyway, I'm expecting overall downward momentum on the pound dollar. And you know, another area to watch as well too is this guy right here. Just sort of right off of that up candle right there. 139.40. Watch that area there too. That could be an interesting area. Potentially maybe see a reversal there. But one of two. I think if they, during that news, I think they're going to jam it up and then rip it down. So just keep an eye on that one. So that's the euro, the pound dollar, the yen. Yeah, I like the yen too. I really do. Again, they're doing the same thing as the pound dollar. Like this area up in here that I was talking about, they're doing the same bloody thing with the yen. They're coming up and they're stopping right on this level right here, and they're saying, yeah, this is resistance. So all the guys out there that are supporting resistance traders, not to say that I'm not, because you can definitely see confluences in the marketplace with support and resistance. It's not technically exactly what it is, but there's no such thing as support and resistance. It's just the algorithm levels that price likes to work, the interbank algorithm levels that it likes to work at. But you can see here, right, if we go back to support and resistance, clear form of support, 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 clear form of resistance, 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 resistance. So you just kind of drop down into this area here. And what are they doing here? They're coming around and back up, and everyone's thinking this is resistance. Boom, they banged into the roof here and dropped it down. Boom, banged in the roof, dropped it down. Boom, banged in the roof. Everyone's thinking they're going to drop it down again. I think they're going to drop it down, but then jam it up into here, and they're going to keep going on this. Again, this is right in line with what my thoughts were for the US dollar. So have a look at that. The US CAD, we're going to see higher prices. I discussed this a bit. I'm not going to put out a signal for that. I just don't like the area that it's in right now, technically. I'd like to actually see price come up, trade down a bit, and then get long. But I'll talk about this next week. Aussie dollar. Don't know that we're going to see that much of a retracement, a 30 pip retracement for the Aussie dollar, but there is some big news coming up here pretty quick. And in about 3 hours from now, 4 hours from now, 4.5 hours from now, so watch for that. This could get tagged. I'm not going to put a signal out for this or anything like that. I'm just going to leave these levels on here, and I'm going to come back to this on probably Friday's session, Friday morning session, and we'll see how that goes. Nothing on crude right now. Bitcoin, again, there's really no level in here. I don't want to take any levels on Bitcoin right now, but you could probably safe to say this would be a good level for them to want to come back up, grab, and then drop it down. Somewhere between there and here. Price has been worked pretty efficiently in there, but I'd say somewhere in here. they may want to come up, grab that, and then drop it lower. If they want to get this high. I don't know. You know, somewhere like this. Price does one or two things. And it comes down here, rebounds up, and then stops here and goes down, or stops there, and then right, goes down. That's what we're looking at on Bitcoin. That's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. That's about it, guys. Again, I appreciate your time coming out. I'm not going to go through these commodities. There's a few of them. If you missed it at the very start of the session, I had mentioned that I am going to, I've got a video. I've done all the research and all the levels, and I've picked out all the leaders for my, excuse me. 1 second, guys. Apologies. I find that you start to talk a couple nights a week on a regular basis, and your throat really starts to kind of get choked up on you there. But as I was saying, I am sitting down and doing a video. I've just finally done all the research on all of the grains, the meats, the metals, and the softs for commodities and futures, and I've got the market leaders here, so I'm going to put out a video and I'm going to be discussing the market leaders for each category, and we're going to be looking at potentially taking some trades or looking at some market levels and doing some demo trades on some of these leaders. And these are swing trades. They're going to be for the next couple of months, and they're not, you know, overnight or day trades or anything like that. So if there's any swing traders out there, this may be right up your alley. And so I'll be having that video coming out here as soon as I can. Like I say, I've got all the research done. I'm actually just going to do copper as my last one. Copper and gold I'm going to put in there, and then that's going to be it. So we'll have that rolled out here right away. And I apologize if you've been waiting for that. I know I've been promising that for the past 2 weeks, but you know, it is what it is. So anyway, that's everything for the night. Thanks for joining us, guys. I'm going to wrap this one up now, and we will see you the next live session. Just so you know, Friday morning New York time. The regular my regular analyst who does that is actually away. He leaves tomorrow, so he'll be gone until Sunday, so we won't be able to do Friday's S&P trading. So if I can't do it, I'm going to have another guy come in and take over, my guy who does Wednesday's trading. I'll see if he's available, and you know, if not, then we'll figure something out. But I will notify you via the chat room, or via you know, Telegram chat room, or via, you know, social media, however you found me, via Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. And by the way, guys, if you're not following me, make sure you jump on, follow me on Instagram, Future45 Trade Signals, and Twitter at F45 Trading, because I do a lot of discussion out there about all of this stuff as well too, and there's some good insight on those social media campaigns there that you can get on trading. So, okay, you guys have a great Thursday, and we will catch up to you on Friday. Take care.